Hey there, coin lovers. Get ready, because today we're diving into a piece of Australian history that you've probably seen dozens of times but never really thought twice about, the 1976 Australian 10-cent coin. Trust me, it's more fascinating than you think. This little silver-colored disc holds stories, craftsmanship, and a value that goes far beyond 10 cents. Now, let's just pause for a second. Imagine holding a coin that's nearly half a century old. It's been in countless hands, pockets, maybe even under couch cushions or in that mysterious drawer everyone has in their kitchen. And yet, here it is, still doing its job. But what makes the 1976 version special? Well, buckle up, because it's not just a coin, it's a time capsule. Let's start with a bit of context. Back in 1976, Australia was in the middle of a very interesting decade. It was a time of change, growth, and a little rebellion. Think flared pants, rock bands like AC/DC starting to rise, and political shifts shaping the country. The 1976 10-cent coin was minted during this colorful era, and its design reflects something deeply Australian. Take a close look at the back of the coin. You'll see a beautifully detailed lyrebird. This bird isn't just any bird. The lyrebird is a symbol of Australia's rich biodiversity, and what's truly amazing is that it's famous for mimicking sounds. From chainsaws to camera shutters. That's right, this bird could probably do a better job than some sound effect departments in movies. Stuart Devlin, the designer of this reverse side, did a stunning job bringing this creature to life in metal. The intricate tail feathers curling around are instantly recognizable to anyone who has spent time in Australia. And let's talk about Stuart Devlin for a second. He wasn't just some random artist. Devlin was one of the most gifted coin designers of the modern age. Born in Geelong, Victoria, he went on to become the official goldsmith and jeweler to the Queen. That's a pretty big deal. And when you look at the details he put into the 10-cent coin, you can see why he earned that title. It's not just a bird, it's a masterpiece in miniature. Now flip the coin over, and there she is, Queen Elizabeth II. The portrait was designed by Arnold Mackin, and it's one of the most recognized images of the late monarch. Mackin's version of the Queen appeared on coins from many Commonwealth countries during that time. It portrays a youthful queen wearing the girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara. Classy, timeless, and dignified. Now, let's get into the nitty-gritty details, the specs. The 1976 Australian 10-cent coin is made of cupronickel, which is 75% copper and 25% nickel. It weighs 5.65 grams and has a diameter of 23.60 millimeters. Those specs haven't changed since decimalization in 1966, which says a lot about how perfect they got it from the start. And yes, this coin was part of Australia's decimal currency revolution. Before 1966, Australia used the pounds, shillings, and pence system inherited from Britain. But in '66, things got a whole lot simpler with dollars and cents, and the 10-cent coin was born. That makes it a pioneer in the modern Australian economy. Now, you might be wondering, how rare is the 1976 10-cent coin? Well, it's not exactly ultra-rare like a treasure chest find, but here's the kicker. Over 81 million were minted. That's a massive number, right? But rarity isn't everything in coin collecting. Condition is king. So if you happen to find one in pristine, uncirculated condition, say tucked away in a coin folder or preserved as a collector's piece, then you got something special. Collectors today love coins that are in brilliant uncirculated BU, condition, or proof versions. A standard circulated 1976 10-cent coin is worth, well, 10 cents. But an uncirculated one could fetch anywhere from $2 to $5, and sometimes more if it's graded and slabbed. Proof versions? Even better. Now, let's dig a little into the history of coin production in Australia. The Royal Australian Mint in Canberra has been the heart of the country's coinage since 1965. This state-of-the-art facility not only produces circulation coins, but also proof and commemorative coins. The 1976 10-cent coin was struck right here. And here's a fun fact. The Royal Australian Mint was the first mint in the world to use computer technology to design coins. So you could say they were ahead of their time. And speaking of time, have you ever thought about the journey of a single coin? One coin minted in 1976 could have passed through thousands of hands, Maybe bought a newspaper in the 80s, a candy bar in the 90s, and who knows what today. Each scratch, each where Mark tells a story. But the story doesn't end there. This coin is part of the broader tale of Australian currency design. Each denomination features native animals or symbols. The 5-cent coin has an echidna. The 20-cent coin, a platypus. The 50-cent coin boasts the Australian coat of arms. And the 10-cent coin, our Lyrebird, is right at home in that mix. Let's go back to Stuart Devlin for a second, because this guy deserves more credit. Not only did he design the 10-cent coin, but he was responsible for all the original reverse designs of Australia's decimal coins in 1966. He had a gift for combining artistic beauty with national identity. His work brought Australia's wildlife and heritage into people's hands, literally. One of the cool things about coins like the 1976 10-cent is that they bridge the gap between everyday life and art. They're used in vending machines, flipped to make decisions, maybe even tossed into fountains. But they're also collectibles, pieces of history, and examples of craftsmanship. Let's talk about value again for a second. It's not just about money. Sure, a pristine 1976 10-cent coin might get you a few bucks. But the real value? It's in the history, the craftsmanship, the connection to a time and place. Holding that coin is like holding a tiny piece of 1976 Australia, its culture, its design philosophy, even its metalworking technology. Plus, for young collectors, coins like this are a perfect entry point. They're affordable, easy to find, and loaded with stories. Starting a coin collection with something like the 1976 10-cent coin is like opening a door to a new world. And we haven't even talked about errors and varieties yet, but we will. Oh yes, there's a whole rabbit hole of minting errors, double strikes, off-center coins, and more. Some of these errors can be worth hundreds, even thousands of dollars if rare enough. So if you've got a 1976 10-cent coin with something funky going on, don't spend it just yet. All right, let's wrap up this first part with a quick recap. The 1976 Australian 10-cent coin is not just currency, it's a time capsule, designed by legends, minted with precision, and circulated through the heartbeat of everyday Aussie life. Whether you're a serious numismatist or just someone who likes cool stories, this coin deserves a closer look. And guess what? We're just getting started. In the next part, we'll dive deeper into collector tips, more juicy details about value, famous error coins, and even explore some cool stories of how the 1976 10-cent has made its way into pop culture and personal collections. So hang tight, coin enthusiasts. The next chapter is going to be even more exciting. Now that we've explored the historical and artistic side of the 1976 Australian 10-cent coin, it's time to roll up our sleeves and dig deeper into the juicy bits that collectors, enthusiasts, and everyday Aussies might not even realize. We're talking value, errors, varieties, cultural impact. Basically, everything that makes this coin more than just pocket change. Let's kick things off with something every collector loves: value. While the 1976 10-cent coin isn't exactly a rarity in terms of mintage, with over 81 million coins struck, its value can still surprise you under the right circumstances. For example, if you have a coin in brilliant uncirculated condition, you're not just holding a coin, you're holding a gem that could fetch $3 to $10, depending on the market and demand. If it's a proof coin, it can be even more. And here's where it gets better. Those coins sealed in original mint sets or graded by professional grading services can climb in value significantly, especially if they're near-perfect specimens, like MS-67 or MS-68 grades. Now, let's talk about errors and varieties, the golden treasure hunt of coin collecting. Even in a well-established mint like the Royal Australian Mint, errors slip through now and then. Some errors that can occur include die cracks. These are small raised lines that appear on a coin surface due to a crack in the die used to strike it. Off-center strikes. These are coins where the design is not properly centered, which collectors love. Double strikes. A coin that's been struck twice, often causing a shadow or doubling of the design. Clip planchets. These are coins that are missing a small portion of the metal disc because it was clipped before being struck. Now imagine having a 1976 10-cent coin with any of these errors. That 10-cent piece could jump to hundreds of dollars, depending on the type and severity of the error. That's why it's worth checking your change carefully, especially older coins. You never know what treasure you might stumble upon. Let's shift gears and talk about the cultural and everyday relevance of the 10-cent coin in Australia. For decades, this coin has been the backbone of small transactions. From bus fares to lollies at the corner shop, 10-cent coins have changed hands billions of times. And while Australia is moving toward a more digital, cashless society, the humble 10-cent coin still holds its ground in everyday use. Now think about how many memories are attached to this coin. For kids growing up in the 70s and 80s, 10 cents could buy you a handful of sweets or go towards your lunch order. It wasn't just a coin, it was a slice of independence, a piece of childhood. That emotional connection is part of what makes this coin so appealing to collectors and nostalgic Australians alike. Let's revisit the design for a second. The Lyrebird, the star of the reverse side, isn't just beautiful, it's meaningful. Native to southeastern Australia, the lyrebird is known for its ability to mimic almost any sound it hears. From camera shutters to car alarms, even other bird calls, the lyrebird is nature's recording device. Devlin didn't just pick a random animal. He chose one that represents Australia's unique biodiversity and ingenuity. It's no wonder the design has stood the test of time. Now, remember Stuart Devlin? Let's talk about the legacy he left behind. Devlin didn't just design coins. He designed national identity in a way. Through his meticulous craftsmanship, he helped Australians connect with their country's fauna and culture every time they made a transaction. That's powerful. He later went on to design commemorative coins and official gifts for royalty and dignitaries. His fingerprints are all over modern Australian numismatics. And speaking of legacy, the 1976 10-cent coin is a snapshot of mid-1970s Australia. Politically, the country was going through significant shifts. Malcolm Fraser had just become Prime Minister after the dismissal of Gough Whitlam in 1975, a major constitutional crisis. Socially and culturally, Australians were pushing boundaries, exploring new music, fashion, and lifestyles. This coin was minted right in the heart of that whirlwind. Collectors often say that coins are time machines. The 1976 10-cent coin certainly qualifies. It's not just a piece of metal. It's a lens into a year of change, resilience, and national identity. Let's also talk about the minting process. Every 10-cent coin goes through a fascinating journey before landing in your hand. It starts as a blank disc or planchet, punched from a large sheet of cupronickel. Then it's washed, dried, and inspected. After that, it's struck with enormous pressure, sometimes up to 200 tons, between two dies, one for the obverse and one for the reverse. That pressure imprints the Queen's portrait and the lyrebird in sharp, crisp detail. But even with all this precision, human error and mechanical will mean that unique coins still get through, and collectors love those. That's why coin hunting is so fun. Every handful of change is a chance to discover a one-in-a-million gem. Now, you might wonder, is it worth collecting modern coins like the 1976 10 cent? Absolutely. Starting a collection doesn't require thousands of dollars. All you need is curiosity and a keen eye. Begin with circulated coins, learn about mintages, study errors, and gradually expand. The 1976 10-cent coin is a perfect place to start because it's widely available, inexpensive, and full of character. You can store your coins in 2x2 holders, coin albums, or even proper display cases. Make sure to handle them by the edges and avoid cleaning them, especially with harsh chemicals. That can damage the value. Even a circulated coin can be a collector's item if it has sentimental or historical value. Let's explore how coin collecting has grown in Australia. Thanks to the internet, YouTube channels, Facebook groups, and even TikTok, numismatics has reached a whole new generation. People are sharing their finds, swapping coins, and educating others. The Royal Australian Mint itself has embraced this enthusiasm by releasing special edition coins, commemorative sets, and educational content. Let's wrap this up with a few real-world stories. One collector in Brisbane found a 1976 10-cent coin in uncirculated condition while metal detecting in his backyard, buried just beneath the surface. Another collector in Melbourne managed to sell an error version of this coin, with a double rim, for over $450 at auction. These stories aren't myths. They're proof that even a humble coin can hold big surprises. If you've got one of these coins lying around, don't ignore it. Look closely. Check the condition. Search for signs of errors. And above all, appreciate the tiny masterpiece in your hand. It's a piece of Australia's identity, a slice of the past, and maybe, just maybe, a treasure in disguise. Thanks for sticking around for this deep dive into the world of the 1976 Australian 10-cent coin. Whether you're a seasoned collector or someone just getting into the hobby, I hope this journey opened your eyes to the richness hidden in everyday objects. Remember, sometimes